My name is Steve Tilstra, and as Cindy said, I was invited here to just talk about the home inspection business and the home inspection industry. I'm a licensed home inspector in the state of New Jersey, and I'm also a licensed radon measurement technician. Cool. And I'm also certified in mold analysis. And I always say that I find it unusual that you just have to be certified for mold, but you have to be licensed to pick up a radon can. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's the way the state is. Yes. Now, what does that mean? I'm a licensed home inspector. The state of New Jersey is one of the first states that required licensing for home inspectors, and we're ran and enforcement is done by a board, the Home Advisory Board in Newark. They're under the Consumer Affairs Division, which is under the Attorney General. That's who issues my license, is the Attorney General of the state of New Jersey. And we are one of the most regulated home inspectors in the country. So what is a home inspection? A home inspection is defined by the state of New Jersey is a visual, functional, non-invasive inspection of the home systems and components. And the purpose of a home inspection is to identify and report on material defects found in those systems and components. A material defect is a condition or functional aspect of a structural component or system that substantially affects the value, habitability, or safety of a dwelling, but it does not include decorative, stylistic, cosmetic, or aesthetic aspects of the system. Now, what does that mean? That means that if I just did a home inspection last week, and the gentleman called me up after, and he said, after we did the home inspection, and I always have the client with me, because I don't like doing a home inspection without them, because I want them there to see what I'm seeing. And I love to explain what I'm seeing to them, so that it will be reinforced in the report when they get it. And so he went back with his daughter, because his daughter couldn't make it that day. And he found they found these cracks in the foundation, as he explained it to me. But there's cracks in the foundation. You didn't put them in a report. So I went back. I know that I didn't see anything material that was a problem. And there were little shrinkage cracks in the skim coat over the foundation, all right? And I called him back, and he says, well, they have to be repaired. I said, yeah, they have to be repaired, but they're not material defects. I can't put them in the report. And he didn't accept that answer. Now, but that's what I'm charged to do. I'm not there to say that, you know, this room is purple, and I know you're not going to like it. And so that's what material defect means. Now, I don't know how many, probably everybody in this room has had a home inspection at one time or another. And maybe what I'd like to do is see if you guys have any comments about home inspections, and if there's anything that you have questions about, you know, such as, you know, were you happy with it? How long it took you? Is there anything you guys were, you're so into it before, I thought you'd be very reactive.
I'll ask a question.
Yeah.
So, as a homeowner, you know, probably all of us are going to be selling at some point. You know, the selling process is really hectic, as is the buying process. You know, there's things, so you know you're going to be selling as a homeowner at a certain point. Does it ever make sense to, like, kind of see sort of the damage of your house beforehand? So, you know, if you could put in, like, repairs that you know that you're going to have to address when you go to sell, Does it make sense to do
yes,
beforehand?
I do, most of my inspections are for buyers, all right? And I have done, I call them pre-sale home inspections, where people have owned a home for a long time. You live in your home. You kind of, things happen, and you know they're there, but you just kind of, like I said, you're in the house every day, you just go through, you come in, and you don't look at things the way that a home inspector would. And I have recommended that this be done. Now, we do have a real estate agent in the room, and she'll verify this. The downside to a pre-sale home inspection is if I find something wrong and put it in a report, it's got to go on your disclosure when you sell the house.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's not a problem to somebody who really wants to know. I've had people ask me to do a walkthrough pre-sale home inspection without a report. I don't like doing that. It's only because then you get into a he said, she said if there's ever any problems and there's nothing written down. So I avoid them at all costs. And but that's the downside of it. The upside to a pre-sale home inspection is that if I do find something material, and you choose not to do anything about it, that's fine, you can do that. But you have the time then, before you put it on the market, to find out how much it's going to cost to fix, and you can get it all priced out, so that in that short 10-day window, when a buyer does their home inspection, and on the 9th day they come back and they say, I want $40,000 to fix this, and it's only going to cost $15,000, you have something to stand on, because negotiations get going at that point. Now, that's not why I do my home inspection. I want everybody to know but I'm not naive that I know it happens to my home inspection. But I do a home inspection to do exactly what this states. It's a visual home inspection to identify what is wrong with that house on the day of that inspection. It doesn't count before or after. 3 weeks later, something could happen, and people could say, you missed this. No, I didn't. It was on that day. The water heater was fine that day. 3 weeks later, there's a big puddle under it. It's and that's the key to it. The other thing is that it's not invasive. I can't take anything apart, and I can't see behind walls. But
that was going to be my question. So it's visual.
Yes.
How do you know if there's mold that's forming behind something? So, they buy the house thinking that from a visual perspective everything is great,
right.
But now all of a sudden they discover that they have a serious mold issue. What happens in that situation? Is it buyer beware?
It almost is, but I'm gonna put a big but here. What do you need for mold?
Water.
Is there really ever a situation where water in that extent should be visible? Now, I'm not saying it always is, but in order to have mold, you need water.
Right, but you could have had water in the basement at one point in time, did the cosmetic fixing,
right,
but never did the inside stuff.
Right, and that's what that is an issue. I think it just came out a little while ago that some movie star or something bought a home, and her husband and wife weren't feeling well, and they realized they were living in a house that had mold behind the walls for 2 years, but it is hard. It is hard in those situations. And again, being non-invasive, there's really, I don't have the right to tear up somebody's home, and neither does the buyer. I'm hired by the buyer usually.
Okay.
All right. To go through and identify the visual condition of that house on the day of the inspection.
Well, thank you very much.
Good deal.
That was good.